Hey guys, you're with EJ Eden, and this week I want to talk about food and food processes. But my main question to you is, do you eat meat, and why or why not? I'll start out by saying that I do eat meat. I've mentioned this before, and if you want to discount my opinion for being a meat eater, I wish that you wouldn't. It's really important for us to talk to each other about the decisions that we make when it comes to food, because those decisions come from a lot of different places. We're all making value judgments, and it's important to acknowledge those values. There are definitely many different systems of beliefs that contribute to that, and we're making decisions that are based on financial means. People are making decisions that are based on convenience and accessibility to food, but there are also factors like health, of course, and the environment, and ethical reasons that come into play as well. We have quite a broad range of reasons that we make the decisions that we do when it comes to food, and it's really important, I think, to acknowledge that those reasons are based on values that we have, and it's always important to acknowledge the validity of other people's values and talk to them from a place of respect about that. So I want to start by talking about meat a little bit. I'll get a bit more into this tomorrow, but just on a very basic level, I think that there are various levels of meat eaters. There are meat eaters who don't really have a lot of concerns about meat. They just love meat. They consume it. They've been consuming it their whole lives. They just love meat, and they may or may not have heard different information or heard about issues and concerns that have been raised about meat. They may or may not have access to that kind of information. They may not care. They're just going to consume meat no matter what. And then there are meat eaters that I think hear those concerns or issues and they have a process about them, but they're not really sure what to do about it. And I think that we're in an information age where we're so overloaded, it's hard to know what information is good information. And so there are people who they take in the information, but it's sort of like, what do I do with this from here? Not really sure what to do. I'm still going to consume meat. And I think that there are also meat eaters who are very educated and who exercise a lot of diligence and concern in various levels of ethical issues, health issues, environmental issues. I think that there are meat eaters who are looking at those things and making a decision, taking that into account. And one of the things that I've noticed in talking to people who don't eat meat is that there's sometimes a sentiment that meat eaters can't possibly be aware of certain issues, or that they aren't taking things into consideration, that they're not educated and they're not exercising that diligence. And I think that that's a really problematic stance to take about meat eaters, that they're uneducated. And especially if you want to talk to people about not eating meat, accusing them of being uneducated is really not a good foot to start off on. I certainly know from firsthand experience that there are a lot of meat eaters who are exercising a lot of diligence and who are very educated. So I'd like to acknowledge that that exists. Now, if you don't eat meat, you may be a vegetarian, you might be a vegan. Vegetarianism is interesting to me because there's so many different levels of it, and it's a very personal thing for the most part. People make different decisions about what they are or are not going to consume. Some people eat dairy, some don't. Some will consume fish or poultry, and some don't. And then there are vegans who it's really it's very exclusive. You're not going to eat any animals or any animal byproducts. All of that has been completely removed from the diet. So they're the sort of basic levels, I think, of diets that concern meat or that are making a specific effort to exclude meat from diets. Now, on a personal note, as a meat eater, again, I know that I spend quite a lot of time investing energy in researching meat and food issues in general, but when it comes to meat, my husband's parents are organic beef farmers, so that's something that's very close to our family in a number of ways. And I get to go to a place where I see how animals are treated, where I get to learn about the process, where I know what's in the meat that I'm consuming and that I'm giving to my family. And I'm very close to a process of food that I'm involved in. I know that not everybody necessarily has that direct link to a farmer or over to their meat. So I'm really fortunate to have that direct link, and it's taught me quite a lot over the past number of years about meat. And so I just want to say, I recognize that not everybody can do that, although I definitely would suggest that if you can get a farmer friend, get a farmer friend. They're cool people, and it's good to know farmers for a lot of different reasons. But if you can get into a place where you can see more of the process, where you can be educated from that level, that would be a really good thing if you're interested in being more educated about meat. I think that that's a really good place to start, by really seeing what goes on for yourself. And it's definitely easy to Google stuff in this day and age, but there's no better experience than getting in and finding out for yourself and seeing with your own eyes, and testing the things that you're seeing and learning against your values. So that's a little bit of a scratch of the surface of meat. But again, the question for you this week is, do you eat meat? Why or why not? Come and check me out in all the places that I am, and let me know what you think about that. And thank you very much once again for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out, and I'll talk to you again really soon.